Good morning. Here we go. Good morning, everybody. Oh, wait a minute. Never occurred. Wait a moment and try again. Oh, I'm not sure whether we're live. Yes, we are live, but there's something showing up.
Saying we're live. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's something showing up saying, I think it's maybe just on one of the channels.
Right.
Yes, it is. Yeah, that's fine.
Cool.
Good morning, everybody, from the east and the west coast of Scotland. Jennifer Main, good morning, darling. How you doing? Great to see you.
Good, thanks. Thanks for having me. Good to see you too.
Yes, so we have got quite a few super exciting things coming up. But obviously, the closest, because people will keep saying, what's next? What are you doing next? Is going to be in November at the spectacular Dalkeith Country Park. And it's going to be in Heart Coherence, which is obviously something that we're both very passionate about. And it's exciting to be able to have these 2 days. They can run as a single day event, but obviously you're going to get much more out of it if you come and stay with us for the weekend. That's when you get the best sort of dropping down into these states and really learning how to stay there. So do you want to talk a little bit about, from your obviously vast experience and all your really intuitive and psychic stuff, how that looks to you, while I make sure that I've got all this doing the right things?
Yeah. So I'll talk a little bit about kind of what I'm going to be doing over the weekend. So when you said the theme was heart coherence, and it was really interesting because when I tuned in, I was thinking something about like heart circulatory system or, the energetics of the heart or things like that. But what came through really clearly was the pituitary gland. I was like, okay, let's see what's here. And but what was coming up with kind of the emphasis on that was this idea that the pituitary is kind of the master cell. It's it's part of regulating so much of our hormonal aspects, our endocrine system, and our hormones are how we feel. And how we feel is our quality of life. And
Absolutely.
if those things are off and you're feeling depressed or all over the place or scattered or brain foggy or just not yourself and you can't figure out why, it's very hard to get back into your heart. It feels hard. It feels like it's difficult to do that. So what was coming through was, this idea of if we can kind of tap into the energy of this gland and of this system and kind of bring everything back into alignment and coherence in terms of the physicalness, but obviously the emotions that go with that and the energetics of it too, because they all go hand in hand. They're not separate. Then you get into a space where you just naturally drop into your heart. You naturally come home to yourself. And so it's not this seeking of coming home to yourself. You're just getting the obstacles out of the way. So that's kind of the idea behind what is calling me to kind of talk through and work through. So, with my work, I'm a healer at heart. So as we're talking through things, we're shifting belief systems and old emotions, old emotional baggage. This can be from different lifetimes, different, ancestral memories. It doesn't matter so much where it comes from. It can be the collective. It's just recognizing it so it can shift. And the idea again being that if you clear away enough of the noise and enough of the junk, then you kind of remember who you are and remember that, oh yeah, actually, I naturally am more heart-centered. I naturally feel more centered and grounded. I naturally feel more present within myself. And I can naturally make choices that are more aligned and more healthy in my relationships, in my work, in my, all of those aspects too.
Yeah, and I think you really hit the nail on the head there about, really ultimately what we're all looking for is to feel better most of the time.
Yeah.
Because life can be very challenging. And I think certainly I've had my challenges over the last few months. And whether it's on a physical, I've had the Lergy, which obviously dulls your energy, whether it's on an emotional, whether it's on a spiritual, because I think everybody's like, what do I believe? What is actually true anymore? Who can I trust? There's so much conflicting information, and that can be, that can add to the confusion, can't it? rather than actually making things clearer. You're like, well, I thought that was true, and now you're saying this is true. And I thought you said to eat this, and now you're saying, no, don't but eat this. And it's just so frustrating because, and I mean, obviously the internet's brought us brilliant things, but it's also led to a lot of confusion for a lot of us.
Sure.
And the other thing that you were talking about there, because obviously I just spent the weekend and we're in the Metro in Saltcoats on Friday night doing the Wild Medicine Breath. And then I was at a convention, a retreat in Ardentini. And, obviously, me, I like to talk about the science around the body. And I've got this brilliant new wee toy that I stole off my grandson that kind of demonstrates, contraction and expansion. And, really trying to help people understand what's happening within the body. And when you think, when you feel, when you believe, when you perceive and you act, how it's having an impact. The cells are always there with you. And the hormonal system, obviously the pituitary gland, we're talking about directing that energy up through the pineal into the pituitary, which allows us to create chemistry that makes us feel different and better and more connected and more unified. And, that the whole heart coherence thing and a lot of the solid science and data comes from Joe Dispenza's work, because he's been absolutely, he's laser focused in getting properly controlled information and data to us the way that the system, you and I don't need it, but for a lot of people, that data, and much as I don't need it, I like it. I like being able to explain to people what's happening and why there's such a power in getting into coherence, because so many protocols that, it's just like, you need to eat, you need to think, and you need to let go of your trauma, and you need to get into nature, you need more light, and it's just like, oh my God, my life's already jam-packed full of things I need to be doing. And now we're actually starting to understand, what if you just get into coherence? Could it be that simple? Certainly, the science is pointing in that direction.
Yeah.
And I just find that, as somebody who's been banging on about, you need to exercise, you need to change your food, it's like, I'm like, oh my God. And that thing is, all these things work, and we know that they do. But it's not about what works. It's about what can people manage at this mental time on this planet and this shift of consciousness. And apathy is a thing because so many people aren't well. They don't know where to start. So this is what I love about this. And obviously we've got Susie joining us from Burning Brightly and Pauline joining us on the Sunday, where we can really get into the body too, because we know the body holds the score. And the body is holding the past. The body is the reflection of your subconscious mind and every experience you've had since your moment of conception and beyond. In the DNA, all that information in there. And really now we're realizing, if you can open the heart and allow that energy to flow, then healing can happen. So that's why I am so excited about this. And having been at the festivals and the retreats and all the things that I've been doing this year, I'm realizing that what these days do is they take you out of that life, and you're giving yourselves that time to tune in to that state. So I'm excited, not just for the people that are coming, but for me as well. There is nobody on this planet that's exempt from the madness right now.
No.
And most of us, working on ourselves is critical at this time. Because like, I've got my wee love tuner here. Staying in that 528 state is key to healing, isn't it?
Yeah. And I think it's, for me, the kind of the way I look at it is we're seeking to try to get into a state, when a lot of times it's looking at, well, what's taking me out of that state. And this is where kind of recognizing, as you're saying, you got to figure out what works for you as an individual, because there's no protocol that's kind of one size fits all. There's nothing that, well, maybe there's something that works for everybody. Like obviously heart healing, things like that can work for everybody, but people may have different ways of finding that or coming about it or doing it. So I think when we start really kind of saying, okay, what are the things that take me out of this? What are the distractions, the noise, the doom scrolling, the same repetitive conversations we're having over and over again that melt your brain. Just the things that eat up your energy and eat up all the good stuff in your life, and starting to move away from that. And then what you find is once you kind of start to get back on track, it becomes easier to follow your intuition towards, this is what's going to get me there. This is what's going to help me the most. And usually, I find that we overcomplicate things. We make things so complex and so hard. And actually, when you strip it back is usually when you're getting more to the heart of things and to what you actually need and what you actually want. So for me, it's always when things are overwhelming, when there's too much, it's time to start saying no to some things. It's kind of saying, what can I take out? What can I release? What can I finish with? So that I can just get back to the simplicity of life and of me. Yeah,
it's that kind of dropping in and, of course, letting go into the space that is always available to us, that infinite supply of energy, but the conscious mind taking us out of that. And it's interesting you should say, because I think we bang on about this a lot, is there's no one size fits all.
Yeah.
And yesterday on my way home, I found this DJ who's doing 528 techno.
Yeah, awesome.
5-year-old granny on the way home banging the love tuner and tunes. And I was laughing to myself because I thought some people would hate this.
Yeah.
I just love it. And that's, that's just the reality. It's finding what you like. And that's what I love about the festivals is there's all sorts of things. There's a whole smorgasbord of different things to try. And and quite often you'll stumble across something that you didn't even know was going to work for you or help you. And that's what, obviously the Heal Scotland message is about, educating people in all the things that you can do. And the other big focus is nobody can do this for you.
Yeah.
Only you. Only you can let go. Only you can choose to go into coherence, obviously guided and tutored by us, and with that kind of collective consciousness in the room of people who genuinely want the best for each other. Because I think that's the other thing that I love when we get together in these events is that people actually are collaborating and they actually do want the best for each other. Whereas out in the big bad world, that might not be the case all the time.
Yeah, I think people are that's what happens is when people are scared, they contract and they go, I got to keep myself safe. So what do I need to do for me? And that's when we make shitty, awful decisions and we don't treat each other as well as we could or should. Whereas exactly what you're saying is when there's community, when there's people you can connect with and bounce ideas off of and try new things and just experience some things that, you might not have before. That's what I've loved about Goddess Gatherings in the past is that I've met people I might not have met otherwise. I've been able to try different techniques and, different healing things. And and that's been so cool to be able to just have that in a place where I could go and experience it. So, yeah.
Good morning, Jackie. Jackie's tuning in from Australia. How are you? It must be at night time for you, maybe, is it? Something. Anyway, lovely to see you. Yeah, so at the Goddess Gathering, obviously, I'm going to be doing 528, obviously the breath work, which everybody's having these incredible experiences with. So, but also it's so brilliant to combine it with these other, with you, Pauline and Susie, everybody bringing in their own kind of angle into the body, mind, and the soul, and these little techniques and the new information that just makes you go, right. And obviously, you and I talk about this a lot, is about teaching people how to do this stuff themselves.
Yeah.
It's the kind of whole allopathic pharmaceutical model is we fix you, and we're like that. Well, no, actually, maybe you need to do a little bit of that. I'm not sure. If you prevent, you don't. But what we're saying now is, we need, rather than giving you the fish, which we're happy to give you if you need it for a while, we need to teach you about how incredible your body is and you are, and the magnificence of, when you start, especially a lot of that stuff that you teach, tuning into the kind of psychic, intuitive realms. It's so exciting and inspiring. But again, nobody else can do it for you. Yeah, you can take a plant, you can take mushrooms, and you can do all that. And that's great. There's definitely a huge amount of people getting great results of that. But it turns out we've got all that within us anyway.
Yeah. And I would say I've seen this a few times lately. It's the meme or whatever. It's something like, everyone wants to do mushrooms and nobody wants to do the dishes. And it is that thing of people are like seeking these highs. They want the big, like, thunderbolt of lightning face of God. But the things that would actually get them there in their daily life, people are like, oh, that's boring. I don't want to do that.
Because you're still going in with the same mentality, aren't you? I want a plant to fix me instead of a person or a pill. And this is the whole thing. It's interesting because I went to a CA meeting at the weekend. I was presenting at a retreat, and it was so interesting for me to watch how the incredible support that the addicts, as they call themselves, give each other, because they genuinely, everybody that comes in, they want to help you and support you. That's part of the deal. You get helped. Now your life's way, way better, and it's your responsibility and it's your role to help others. And they take that very, very seriously. It's a genius model, really. But one of the men that was sharing, he said, I know when things aren't going well, I'm not doing the things out the book. And I was like, that's right there. It's the same for all of us. Knowledge, the knowing what to do, the meditation, the breath work, getting into the forest, the cold water, whatever is your thing, eating well. We know what to do to make ourselves feel better, but when we're in that contracted self state, we don't want to do it.
Yeah.
It's so fascinating. And I thought, but that's what's great about that community, with this 12-step. You've actually got a place to go. And some people use the Bible, and I'm sure there's all sorts of other things that I don't know about that people use. But it's just like that, right? Okay, I'm lost. I don't know where to go. I'm feeling disconnected. I feel sad. I feel angry. Whatever it is, let me open the book and let me start again. Okay, we'll just go through the process. So it's really helpful for people to have these very structured processes to follow that have been tried and tested for a long, long time, and they work and they help lots of people. But the key is, obviously, are you willing to do the work? And regardless of whether you're trying to heal cancer, heal MS, or whatever it is that you've been told can't be cured, which we know can be. I'm not saying everybody will heal, but we've been told stuff that's completely not true. And how do we then, because then it comes down to us. What can we do? If that's all you've got that can help me and there's nothing else that you can do, we have to start looking in. What can I do to help my cells? And so let's talk. I mean, I'm a huge fan of theta now. Since I did that course with you in Skye earlier this year. And I'm really delighted that you're coming back to the Pop-Up Healing Centre in Creetown, whoever you see it, teach people, because obviously this big focus from Heal Scotland is giving people the tools to go back into their communities and get this stuff happening in our communities. And it's no longer, oh, you need me. No, you don't need you. You can learn all these things. They're not difficult. They're not rocket science. It's the action. And if we can have that action within your community, then you don't need to go anywhere fancy dancy in a jungle anywhere. You don't need to have money. In Scotland especially, we've got all the nature you could ever need. It's dramatic, it's beautiful, it's powerful. People come here from all over the world to forage the mushrooms and the incredible bounties that our country pushes up through the soil. Here you go, here's all the stuff you need. And we're like that. Frying Mars bars and pizzas. It's madness. It's absolute madness. So when we start to reconnect and realize that power, theta for me, again, like a lot of things, you're not hearing anything particularly new. But it's just the way and maybe it's just the time as well, right? You're like, wow. And that's why, and I know that like me as well, you've evolved in a completely different way, and we'll talk about the other really exciting thing that you're going to be doing. But these really basic, simple tools that people can use to help themselves, to help in their families, and to help in their communities. And we know giving back is the best medicine ever. So if you can take that course that even Theta 1 and practice and practice and practice, guess what? You're going to get good at it. And you're going to learn and you're learning because I've been teaching people about the breath work, and I'm realizing now I can give you the structure. It's easy. Are you willing to practice? Are you going into your communities? Are you getting the experience? Because that's when you really learn, isn't it? It's like passing your driving test. Now you need to get out and driving a motorway, driving a country lane, driving a single track road in Argyll. That's when you get good, the practice. So I really want to encourage and inspire people about Theta. So can you just talk to us about Theta?
Yeah, so I found this modality in 2008. Definitely a lifetime ago. And so my background is I have a degree in psychology, and I've worked in addiction and support with homelessness and complex needs, and got into energy work basically because of my own healing journey. I started to become interested in just learn more about all of that. And what I liked about theta healing when I found it is it's a combination of psychology and energy work. So you're digging into old belief systems and into understanding why you have them, why they've been created, and why you've held on to them for so long, even when they're things that are detrimental and problematic and you've been fighting against for decades. So you start to understand yourself better and understand how the conditioning, the programming, how your life experiences have shaped you in these ways. You're a perfect product of your karma, and your karma is what you create through the choices that you make all the time, and you just reinforce it over and over again. So with theta healing, you're learning to understand your mind a bit more. You're understanding, again, the conditioning, the undercurrents that are playing out underneath. And once you start to recognize them, they start to crumble. Because when you start to understand why they were there and recognize that, all that reasoning is false, it's outdated, it doesn't apply to me anymore, all those things, then the subconscious goes, actually, this isn't anything we need to hang on to. So you're kind of collapsing these old belief systems. And as you're doing that, you're also resolving old emotional baggage that you're carrying too. So you've got these emotional components, these feelings that are kind of cycling through your body. And again, that stuff kind of throws off your hormones, the health of your cells, whether your body's alkaline or not, all of those things, it all connects, it all ties together. So, as you're resolving these things, emotionally, you're feeling better. Physically, you're feeling better. And what I found really fascinating with it is that there were things that I never worked on that healed because they have a deeper, the issue was a symptom. So I used to have IBS and had all these digestive issues, and I never really worked on my IBS because I was trying to sort other stuff in my life. But my IBS resolved. And again, it's because, and we feel like we're overwhelmed with problems, whether it's physical, emotional, relational, or money or work. But actually, so many of those, when you dig into it, you can have 5 things on it, really one issue. So that's what I like about it too, is you're not trying to treat the symptoms. You're not trying to put plasters on stuff or a quick fix. You're kind of saying, actually, what is it that's causing this? Let's go deeper into that and resolve it there. And then it becomes this thing where you can resolve multiple things or improve multiple things because you've really gotten into the heart of it. So on a practical level, it's great because your mind can kind of wrap around, this is what we're doing. This is why it makes sense. I can understand the process we're working through. The other side of that is there's the energetics of it. So for people who are highly sensitive, highly intuitive, highly psychic, whatever words you want to use for that, and whether you would even admit that or not consciously, we're all intuitive. We all have these capacities to tune into the world beyond the physical. And actually, there's so much going on there that impacts our world. So whether it's the thought the thoughts that we're picking up on from other people, their emotions. We're picking up on energy from the land. There's everything around us has got energy imprints. So we're there's lots of information going on around us, a lot of influences that we're not even consciously aware of. And we're reacting to things that we don't understand why we're reacting in the way that we are. So when you start to again, expand that vision and expand that awareness, then you start to understand the why behind a lot of things. And then you can start to consciously choose differently. So what I found with this is that I was already very intuitive, didn't understand it a lot of the time, really struggled with it. But by kind of being able to understand my own intuitive senses, how I perceive things, how I pick up on things, that healed my body in a lot of ways too. But it also gave me kind of peace of mind and a much deeper understanding of myself and how I interact with the world and why I had interacted with the world in certain ways that I could then move beyond. So you start to respond as opposed to react. So for me, the world made more sense because you're understanding the information that's coming in. You're not just working with a tiny little bit of information. You're getting more of it, and you get a deeper awareness. So those are the things that I found made a massive difference for me. There's definitely in my life, there was a before and after I took kind of the first two classes because I took them together back to back. What I found was that I really just started to be able to see more clearly of, I was making all of these choices because of my family, because of obligation, because of conditioning, because I thought I was supposed to. If I step out of that, what are the choices that I actually want to make? Like, what do I actually want to be doing with my life if I'm freed from that? So when people talk about awakening, that's what that is. Like people are seeking awakening, not really knowing what it is. It means awareness. It means you really are clear of this has been the cause and effect. And now here's the line, and I'm going to choose differently because I have the awareness to do that. Hopefully I haven't gone on too much of a tangent there. I get really excited talking about this stuff.
No, that's brilliant because that's I think I was talking to my pal Kat about this because we live in this world. It's all very obvious, and then you forget that some people are just being introduced to it. So I think it's really helpful to have all that understanding. And again, one of the big things about theta is that once you know it, but it's every other tool. And I say that to people even about this, you still need to blow it.
Yeah. If you don't, it's like what you're saying with driving a car. If you don't practice, the more you use it, the more your confidence builds, the more familiar it feels, the easier it becomes. It's like anything when you're trying it new. It may feel a bit clunky or strange, or you're not quite sure when you first do it. And then you just keep doing it and it becomes fluid. It becomes a part of you because it's tuning into your own intuition, which is innate. It's a part of who you are. So it's not like you're adding in a whole bunch of stuff, these big techniques that you need to figure out and do. It's just you really getting into alignment and tuning in with your own gifts and with your own awareness, your own nervous system. And so not only do you become better as a practitioner, if in whatever way you want to work, but you are going internally into the heart coherence and into understanding yourself in a much clearer way. It is kind of coming home to yourself in some of those ways too. And what I love about it is that you can use it on yourself. So it's not just something that you can use on other people. You can, if you only wanted to use it for yourself, that's enough. It's kind of recognizing that, this is something for me. This is something that I can bring into my daily life. And it's also not something you need to go sit on a hilltop for 6 hours and meditate with for it to work. It's instantaneous. You just move into this state and you can live your life in it. So it's very practical. It's very real too. So it's that idea of bringing heaven to earth, of living in a human body, but with the divine awareness of what you have within you too.
Yeah, I know. And I love her book. Is it Viana? Yeah. What's her surname?
Viana Stiebel. Mm-hmm.
The book is just mind-blowing. I absolutely love it. Well, that's great. So you're going to be doing 1 and 2, aren't you, at the healing? Mm-hmm. So, because I know that most of the people that did 1 want to do 2, and maybe want to do 1 again. How does it work? Can you do 1 again and then do 2?
Yeah. So some people like to repeat classes, and because as you know, the more times you read a book or listen to a talk, it goes in on deeper levels. So so I do have people sometimes repeating classes. You do need to do level 1 before you do level 2 because obviously it
Yeah.
builds one upon the other. So you can't come in and just do the advanced class. You need to do the basic first. But the advanced is a nice continuation of the basic. So, something that we talk about in those classes is the planes of existence. So you're really understanding the vibration of life and of existence. And so we're doing things like we're connecting with the future. We're doing things like, connecting. You can use it to connect with plants. You can use it to connect with crystals. You can connect with your ancestors. You can connect with your guides. You can connect with the laws of existence. There's all these. So these kind of fit into this kind of explanation of the plane. So just to help you kind of have a conceptual understanding of all of these things that can sometimes feel quite nebulous and all over the place. What's great about the classes is you get to practice connecting with those energies and understanding what they look like, understanding what they feel like, creating a little bit of a relationship dynamic that's there. So instead of it just being this theoretical thing that you've kind of studied or learned about, you can kind of go, oh, I know what it feels like to connect with an ancestor. I know what it feels like to connect with my higher self. I actually know what it feels like to, connect with the tree and be able to see the energy that's there or listen to what the tree has to say or, to receive that exchange of information. So again, that's something else I really like about the classes is obviously I will teach what I know, but it's about you practicing. It's about you getting an experience because we learn through experience. You'll get much more out of you doing it than me talking at you all day.
Absolutely. It's when you have to do it. That's just, and it's the action again. We keep going back to that old thing. It's you can do course after course after course, but if you do not practice, you're not going to get the result. You can't just join the gym and not go because that's the same thing. And it's people that are showing up, and I can see it even in the vaccine injured world. I'm running another retreat in a couple of weeks for these guys, and they're getting frustrated with people that are not, taking action to help themselves. And I was smiling because I thought, really, it's just humanity in general. So many of us, and the whole nanny state, the government will get you things. It's just like, have you looked at the government? Are you actually seriously waiting on these people to help you? Come on. And that's, I think, part of the shift in consciousness. And that's what can be uncomfortable too. It's like, what do you mean? It's up to me. But I don't know anything. I don't have the skill set. And that's why, obviously, we need to get this information and this understanding out to the masses so that people know what to do if you're ever not feeling well. You just take action before it manifests into something really serious. So, yeah, I'm excited, but let's talk. We're for anybody listening to this on live now or on replay, Jen and I are still working on the program for March, but Jen has a dream that will come true, is coming true, what she's wanting to create on this planet, and what we're doing, what she is going to be doing, and I'm delighted I'm going to be there, is a pop-up psychic school. Jen, tell us about this.
Yeah, so it's really funny because for years I've in meditations and things, I keep getting this information about like psychic school, psychic school, psychic school. I'm like, okay, when's it gonna happen? Where's it going on? What's happening here?
Yes.
And it's like I feel like so I'm running an event in a couple weeks that is going to be some of the foundations for some of this, and I'm going to repeat that next year as well. And then obviously what we're doing it with the Heal In is going to be an extension of that. So the idea being that I feel like part of my purpose in life is to help demystify what it means to be intuitive, what it is to be psychic, what it is to be tuned in. And there's so much superstition and nonsense about our energetic abilities, how we're able to perceive things. People think that they're making it up. It's in their imagination. They think that only certain people are intuitive, that you have to be on mushrooms or that you have to be in a retreat for a month. It's all these things that we either put people up on a pedestal or we other it. And the reality is that if you have a nervous system, you're intuitive. Like that's it. Yeah. And we are energy. So of course we can read energy. Of course we can perceive energy around us and within us. And we get really caught up in the human realm around what we can physically see, feel, know, touch, perceive. And it's just recognizing that the energetic world is just an extension of that. It's just moving into a different vibration. And so none of it is hard. It's really about, again, it's that thing of coming home to yourself. And so, a lot of what's happened is our nervous systems are overwhelmed because we have a bunch of stuff in our bodies and our lives that are creating a bunch of noise, a bunch of problems, a bunch of difficulties. We create a lot of drama for ourselves, and that eats up our energy and our time and our focus. And so a lot of it's just kind of that returning back to your natural state, which is peaceful, which is calm, which is in tune. You're not trying to be psychic or intuitive, you just are. And you're allowing yourself to come back to that. And for some people, again, because people like to compare themselves to each other and say, oh, well, this person sees this in this way, or they're really empathic and they feel all of this, or they do it this way. Again, it's that thing of going, well, how does it work for you? And how can you get into a state where you can allow yourself to really be present with it? Because some people are very visual, some people feel, some people have a really clear knowing, some people hear. And actually, we can all do all of them, but it's just kind of saying, well, what's working for me right now? What's really clear? And then allowing the rest of it to kind of your understanding. So it's kind of understanding the language of your own intuition, because we're influenced by, we have our own filters, our personalities, our experiences, and things like that. So like when I receive information, I often see it in terms of like movies that I've seen and that I love. And obviously somebody else hasn't seen those same movies or had that same connection. So they're not going to see it in the same way. So we may get the same information, but it will look or feel different because we have different filters that it comes through. So it really is about saying, how do we get rid of all that nonsense, the noise around what it is to be intuitive, and then come into a space where you understand your intuition so clearly that it's not something you have to fight for or seek out. It's just an integrated part of who you are. So instead of being like, oh, it's got to take me a week to make a decision about this because I have to spend hours meditating on it, or I have to wait for my angels to send me a sign, or, all of these things, which are great. Like, look at the synchronicities, do it, have fun with it. But what if you could have an important decision and you could just take that moment to drop in and you just got a really clear yes or no, or a not now, and let's look at these things. So it simplifies your life. It makes your life way easier. You'll be so much more aligned, so much happier. So basically the idea is to help people just to get it, to understand all of these things so it becomes really clear and easy. So healing is a part of that, healing the nervous system and just helping people to kind of understand what it feels like to actually be regulated is part of it. And then it's the practice of using it. So again, that you get a feel for what your intuition feels like, for what it's like for you to receive information in the way that you do, without feeling like you're a crazy person, without feeling like you're making it up, without comparing yourself to how other people doing it, and without thinking that it's wrong or strange. Because again, we're all intuitive, so it's totally natural.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's all happening. All the information's coming in anyway, and it's just that we're not recognizing it. Well, I certainly know I wasn't. I mean, it had to come in quite loud and quite persistent for me to pay attention. But somebody actually said, a girl had a brilliant testimony after the breathwork on Saturday, and she said she'd had a lot of loss over the last couple of years, and 5 of the people that had gone came in, and she was like, "Am I imagining this?" And then her mum came in, who's actually still alive, but is in the her final kind of weeks. So her mum came in as well, and she said to her mum, "What are you doing here?" And her mum said, "Well, you're here." And I was like, "Oh wow, that's so beautiful."
Just got chills for that. Yeah,
it really is. And again, and she was like that. She didn't want to tell anybody in case they thought she was making it up. And I think that's where we're all getting to now. And we're having a lot of experiences like this where the veil is definitely dropping. Morning, Nikki. How you doing? The veil's dropping, and we're like that. Are we going mad? What's happening here? We're picking up information, and it comes down to trust, doesn't it?
Yeah. And I think that I think it's very natural to doubt ourselves, and especially in cultures where the mind and the ego are celebrated and intuition is not. And we've got it the wrong way around. So it's kind of being able to say, no, I'm not following that narrative and I'm not getting caught up in that. It's great to have common sense. It's great to have logic. You want to use all those things for sure. But also it's okay to say, actually, my intuition is telling me that this logical answer is not the way. For me, it's this way. And if I can follow that, if I can lean into that, and again, it's that practice. You practice it. You start to lean in. You start to do things, and then you show yourself that you're right. You show yourself that it was the right thing for you to do. And the best choices in my life, the things that have had the biggest impact, that have created the most happiness, are things that I did intuitively, that I could not have told you logically, or I could have had some reasons logically, but it was just a feeling of, this is the thing for me to do, and I'm going to go and do it. Yeah.
Following your heart. I mean, it sounds so simple and it sounds a wee bit corny, but it's actually what we're doing. And that kind of electromagnetic pull, even when it seems a wee bit illogical. And I think that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, obviously, I'm working with people that are choosing treatments that they don't really want to have, but they're trying to decide, you know, what is the right thing for me? And we know that it's different for everyone. And whatever you choose, you have to feel that your heart's saying yes. Not your head.
Yeah.
To the alignment, and that's really what coherence is around. Because most of the time we're working up here, you know, the lefty logic, which is really not logical to the heart. And the heart's like, no, over here, and that's when we get that confusion and that pull and that overwhelm. That's what causes the contraction, and then we very often stall and end up doing nothing. So no, I think the psychic school is going to be huge.
We're going to have so much fun.
Absolutely are. And that's the thing. We have to be having fun.
Yeah.
That's the
I'm not interested if we're not having some fun.
Yeah, no, me neither. Morning, Lauren. Yeah, so, well, listen, come and see us at the Goddess Gathering in Dalkeith Country Park. I've popped the link in there. A phenomenal, you can get it's 99 for the day and it's 150 for the 2 days. I would highly recommend you come the 2 days if you can, because that's when you're really going to feel that expansion. The more of this work you do and the more that we do together, we have this powerful energy grid that really elevates all of us. And I'll be talking more about that, as I'm sure Jen will too.
And I just want to throw in with Dalkeith Country Park. I was just there yesterday, and the energy there is just so good. And the park's open, I think 7 to 7. So even if you wanted to come early, leave late, and have some time with the trees, wander around the grounds, even if it's 10 minutes, it's
get in the dirty river. I usually go early and go in the river because I love it there. And they're like, look, it's dirty. I said, it's everywhere's dirty.
And it's just such a great venue. It's a great venue. So
it's an amazing venue. Well, listen, I'm excited. That's probably when I'll see you next anyway. So thank you. I've put the link for the Heal In, which is I'm going to be a month in Skye and then a month in Creetown. And Jen's going to be there with Theta 1, Theta 2, and the pop-up psychic school. So please, as always, help us by sharing with people that you know could benefit from this. People in your circle, doesn't matter where they live demographically, that love this stuff and are looking to connect with a like-minded community. And remember our amazing social media platform. I'll put a wee link in for that as well. If you can join us and be part of the change, because we are absolutely passionate about getting this information out to the masses and empowering people to help themselves. It's £5 a month for a Joe Public, and if you're a business and you want to come in and join the other businesses that are making changes, it's £12 a month. So please, we really, really have to pull together, collaborate, and get this health trajectory of ours turned around as quickly as possible. Okay, Jen, I will let you go because I know you've got a busy day, and thank you so much for your time. And it's great to see you, and I'll see you at the Goddess Gathering.
Yes, see you soon.
Ciao.